All right, we've got a little bit more supernatural, but maybe more questions than answers. Let's talk about before episode 4. Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watch Our Past, and I'm here to talk to you about Before Season 1, Episode 4, Symbols and Signs, coming to Apple TV Plus on November 8th, 2024. It is the 4th episode in the Before series. There are 10 episodes this season. This one, we get a little bit more information about what might be going on, but I think we might get a few more questions and answers. So, should you watch this episode? My hot take is, I think you should. I think you should watch it. It's a good episode. Keeps the story moving. It has a little bit more of a supernatural aspect and some more drama, but I think it also introduces more questions than answers. So still wondering what is going on here, but I guess we will keep watching to find out. So I'm gonna tell you a little about the episode, a few things I liked, a few things I didn't like, and then really quickly go into a recap. So as you can imagine, there'll be spoilers in the recap section. If you don't know what happens in this episode, and you might not, there are some pretty big twists. I would turn off when I get there. Before that, though, I'll keep it vague. I'll keep it spoiler free. Unless you want to get to those spoilers. So before episode 4, Noah is still working with Eli, still trying to figure out what happened, but now he is also trying to investigate a little bit more of Noah's past. Now, does this investigation lead to some more answers? Well, you have to watch the episode to find out. So, things I liked about this episode. The first, I like the supernatural aspects. This series is kind of like skirted between supernatural and not supernatural. It feels like in episode 4, we get a little bit more on like the supernatural side. Nothing crazy, nothing like extreme, but it feels like we are getting a few more little supernatural, kind of ghostly, otherworldly type of things that are happening. So I'm hoping it keeps going, hoping it keeps like going down this rabbit hole, because that's something I want more of. I don't want it all in dreams. Seems like earlier episodes, all in dreams. It's like, oh, something terrible happened, dream. This one, it feels like they are kind of like bleeding more into reality. The second thing I love the drama. There are some dramatic moments here. There is an interesting like dinner party scene. There's some drama surrounding some of these supernatural things that happen. So I do like the drama. I do like kind of like the tension. I am curious to see where this goes. But I guess I'll have to keep watching to find out. So all that being said, things I didn't love. The first, I'll call it Eli's mood shifts. He seems to shift moods very quickly in this episode. Like go from very nice to like insulting. And that's weird. I mean, I guess it's part of his character, but it also felt very strange. He seems to like go on to extremes with very little provocation for certain things that he is like annoyed about. And the second thing I didn't love, I've said it a couple times, so I'm not going to belabor the point. I feel like this episode has more questions than answers. I want some answers at this point. There are 4 episodes in. I want to know a little bit more about what happened. And it feels like we are just continuing to have just like weird experiences and maybe a little revelation here and there, but not enough to really kind of like whet my appetite. So I'm assuming it'll get better. I'm assuming over time we'll get some more answers, but here we go. Let's hope. Fingers crossed. So, all that being said, before season 1, episode 4 comes to Apple TV Plus November 8th, 2024. I think you should check it out. This was not as good as the 3rd episode, so I think the first episode was okay. Second episode, really good. 3rd episode, good. This one is also good, but I hope it gets back on that upward trajectory because I really love the 2nd episode. We'll see what happens next. But if you do watch it, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I'd love to hear it. And I'm going to really quickly go into a recap right now. So if you don't know what happens this episode, I'll turn it off now because there will be spoilers. So this episode starts with a therapy session. They often do. And in this one, Noah is playing with a doll and he's burying it in the sand. And when he's done burying this doll in the sand, he says, now he can't hurt anyone. And when Eli looks at the doll, it looks like him. It looks very much like him, like a little doll that is like, it looks like some beard was drawn on him or something like that to make it look like Eli. Now, Eli also asked Noah to draw what he's feeling, and Noah draws like a face and some hands and some hair all over. It looks like a woman drowning. Then Noah runs away and hides in a linen cabinet. And when Eli is looking for him, because he kind of like ran away when Eli stepped out for a second, he also notices he's missing a pen, and he gave the pen to Noah to draw. And while he was drawing, Eli stepped out, and when he came back, Noah was gone and the pen was gone. So when Eli finds Noah, he asks for the pen. He can't find it. We don't know where that pen is. We're worried maybe Noah now has a weapon. Eli is doing some research on the farmhouse as well, the farmhouse that appears in lots of Noah's drawings, and he's wondering if like Noah and Lynn knew each other. That farmhouse picture was one of Lynn's possessions, so he's worried that like maybe Noah and Lynn have a connection, and maybe that's why Noah is like kind of manifesting things that he has said to Lynn, manifesting aspects of his dead wife. And so I think he's just trying to find a connection. And while they're talking, his assistant, who's helping with the research, looks at that picture of the drowning person and thinks it looks like a picture of someone swimming. It definitely looks like someone drowning. It does not look like someone swimming. It definitely looks like someone drowning. But I think this is supposed to give you the idea that Eli is fixated on this. Like everything he sees reminds him of Lynn. This picture of a person who might be swimming. She's not swimming. She's definitely drowning, but might be swimming, is actually drowning. So while they're talking, there's a leak in the house, and that is the bathtub that Lynn died in. So Eli goes up to work on it. He fixes the leak, I guess, by tightening a pipe, and then that causes the bathtub to fill with like ruddy water. So he goes in, pulls out a clump of hair. It looks like Lynn's hair. So he pulls out a clump of hair, and then that bathroom drains. So this is like a little bit more supernatural, right? Like Lynn's hair got in there well after she died, caused this backup, caused, this ruddy, gross, blood-looking water to come up. So feels like Lynn's haunting is getting a little bit more physical now. Now, Eli takes his granddaughter to a church. He has to watch her for the day, so he takes her to a church, and he has ulterior motives here. He wants to get information about Noah. This is the church that Noah was abandoned at, so he wants to find out more about this. Now, while he's there, we find out that his granddaughter might also be getting messages from Lynn from beyond the grave. Seems like Noah's getting messages from Lynn. At least that's kind of what it feels like. Feels like his granddaughter is also. She asks Eli if he's mad at Gran for clogging the tub because she drowned in there, which two important things here. One, you know, I don't think she realized the reason the tub was clogged. And two, I don't think she realized that her grandmother drowned in there. So could be information from beyond the grave, could be things she overheard at home, but very weird. And she also says that Gran lives in her lizard doll that she has. And so, and Gran is talking to her. She like puts the lizard up to her ear. So it seems like she's getting some messages from beyond the grave. Now, Eli, while he's here after this like creepy incident, talks to the church pastor about Noah. And he's trying to get some more information about Noah, but there isn't really much. But then they talk about religion. And Eli is like very dismissive, combative, and like insulting about religion when he's talking to the pastor, which is weird. Like he came asking for information. And then they start talking about religion, and Eli just like flips, like gets mad at him, says, like I deal with like actual science, you deal with myths and fairy tales, like things like that, like very insulting things where you wouldn't say that if you're going to a church to try to like get information. It it was in relation to him, the pastor finding out that his wife had died and like talking about spirituality, it seems like. So again, this seems like Lynn is a trigger for Eli. He went from like asking for information to being very insulted, and also it seems like maybe this was a consistent thing that him and Lynn argued about, so this might be why he is so dug in. So after this weird incident, he goes back home. His daughter and that real estate agent are trying to stage his house, getting it sold. And Eli sees that his daughter, his real daughter, is cleaning up some of Lynn's stuff. And he gets very mad again. He gets very competitive with her and saying, grabs it, and she gets upset. And she's like, "What are you doing?" Like, it's like, "This is Lynn's stuff." And she's like, "Oh, like Lynn, like your like mom is dead." And then Eli says something like, "This is a perfectly normal reaction for someone violating your personal space." Again, very weird, very combative, very like sharp shift from him, but it also seems to be like Lynn's a hair trigger for him. Now he looks in this stuff that was being cleaned up, and he finds, I think he finds Lynn's computer passwords, because then he goes on to Lynn's computer and reads her email. And in there is an email from her to Eli's friend, his friend that has been like there for him, saying that they need to talk and that Eli won't understand. Eli is obviously concerned about this, so he confronts his friend at a party that his friend is throwing. It's like jazz party, I guess. I don't know exactly what the party was, but it looked fun. Um, while they are talking, some weird stuff happens to the party that kind of seems like it relates to what happens with Noah. Again, there's really tenuous relations here, and I'm not sure if they are connected. I think they probably are. So back in the psych ward, Noah is holding something in his hand, and the attending tries to take it from him. And we think it's probably the pen because it looks pen shaped. It's wrapped in a paper towel. Um, and while he runs from her, and while he's looking at her, a tentacle comes and like wraps around her throat. And you're like, oh God, like if it's the pen, is Noah gonna like take it and like stab her? That would not be good. That would be very bad. He doesn't. They fight. I guess the tentacle doesn't do anything because like he doesn't stab her, but the tentacle isn't there anymore. And she grabs the thing from his hand, yanks it from him, and opens it up, and it's that doll that he buried earlier. And on the back, it says Eli written on it. And then Noah starts crying about Eli and looks up and screams. And then the room freezes. Um, but I think it freezes in like Noah's head. You're not sure if this is like real. You're not sure if this is real. It feels like it's in Noah's head. But when this happens, when the Eli doll is taken from him, when he saw the tentacle around that person's neck and he like looks up and screams, someone at the party goes into anaphylactic shock. She can't breathe. Her neck is closed up, which is interesting because that tentacle was wrapped around the attendant's neck. So I don't know like where the connection is here. Like I don't know what is happening, but it seems like those two are connected. Now, Eli then has to like intubate this person, like, cut the cut the neck, put a pen in, the ballpoint pen that was missing earlier somehow appears at this party. He has to put a pen in her so that she can breathe because her throat is closed up. So that is what happens. Eli saves her. I think it's an interesting scene because it shows that he is a good doctor and also that he's a good person. Like he goes out of his way, he like snaps into action to save this person's life. So Eli has had a fairly negative day. So this is kind of a nice, like, rebalancing of him, but is also very weird because, like, I don't understand how they're related. Like, this person was a random person. She is getting hurt. Is there bad things following Eli that he just can't see because he is not opening his mind to like science, to like spiritualism or something like that? And Noah is, and that's why Noah can see it. Did that tentacle transfer from like that attending person over to this random party goer who seemed nice? She didn't seem to do anything wrong. I don't know. I don't know why these are connected. It was an interesting scene, but it just also felt very strange. So after this party that I assume broke up after this person like almost died, Eli and his friend talk and they argue. And basically his friend tells him that Lynn couldn't talk to Eli about death and mortality because he just kept trying to get her on a new trial. He was very focused on like fixing this issue. He wanted her to like try new drugs, try different options. He wanted a scientific explanation. And Lynn, I think, was, kind of accepting her fate and wanted to talk more about like the afterlife and spirituality and things like that. He was only focused on science. So his friend also shows him a picture that Lynn was working on. I think it was a new story that she was writing. And this picture is of two people in a forest and there's swirls around the forest it could look kind of like wind, but it looks like the hair from that drowning picture that Noah drew earlier. So it seems like maybe Lynn, either it's a message from like beyond the grave, like this is Lynn's drawing that Noah is repurposing into a new picture that shows her drowning, or maybe Lynn had an idea that she was going to drown or that Eli might kill her. And so like maybe she had a premonition. I'm not sure, but that is like a big revelation that we have. And those swirls also move. And then I don't know if that's like actual supernatural or if that's just in Eli's head. Again, we don't know, but seems like there's some stuff brewing. Now, back in the psych ward, after Noah screamed, he is being restrained in his bed, and you see that he's freezing. His breath is showing. It is very cold. Then this happened like an episode or two ago when Eli and Noah were talking. This happened to Noah. Eli noticed he was getting cold and like gave him his jacket. I don't know if he saw that like Noah's lips were turning blue. I don't know if that's real or if that's supernatural. Again, all these questions. But this time, when Noah is freezing and his breath is showing, we see Eli contemplating all this stuff happening and his breath starts showing. So I don't know if their connection is getting stronger. I don't know if all this means that like the things that are happening to Noah are now going to start happening to Eli because they're connected or because, the entity is getting stronger. And before it was like tormenting Noah, now it's going to start tormenting Eli. And that's why like the tentacle transferred from the attendant to the person at the party. I don't know. Again, more questions than answers, but I'm sure we'll get some new information eventually. So what do we know? Well, I think we can pretty clearly guess that Eli probably killed Lynn. It seems because he's so focused on it. Like maybe it is grief, but he seems to be very focused on it. He seems to be very like triggered whenever anyone talks about Lynn or mentions Lynn or has something come up about Lynn. So it seems like that is a very sore spot for him. His daughter is able to process it. His granddaughter seems to be processing it in her own way. Eli is not. So it feels like Eli probably did something. And that, kind of builds with the other things we've seen, the scene, the image of like Eli strangling Lynn's corpse, the thing when he was called a liar, the thing when Noah said that like you hurt me. It feels like Eli is the one that killed Lynn. Now, why? I don't know. I don't know. That we don't know, but it does seem like Eli killed Lynn. And it seems like the haunting is getting worse, getting more intense. So I am assuming the next couple episodes it will get even more, and Eli will at some point be forced to confront the entity of Lynn that has been haunting him. But I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see what happens. But that is before episode 4. Like I said, I think you should watch it. I think the series is interesting enough. It's kind of on a downward trajectory, so I hope it picks back up. But if you do watch it, let me know what you think. Let me know what you like and didn't like. I'd love to hear it. And thanks so much for watching. If you like this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.